Traveling around the world, my feet will tell me where to go. I'm not afraid to step outside and see the world for what it is. No. Spending all my time with people that I barely know. You may have thought that I was lost, but all I need is room to grow. Coming home to put a flower.
Hey, did you know that there is a right and a wrong way to harvest wheatgrass? So we are here today to do our wheatgrass harvest. We have wheatgrass in the house.
Oh my gosh, it's huge.
Yeah, we have wheatgrass in the house, and we're going to harvest and juice it and see exactly how much we get from the little bit of wheatgrass that we've grown over the last 3 weeks. Believe it or not, it's been 3 weeks. So this is your daily energy bite, and we are helping you to create a life you love and a health that you love. Hey guys, how are you today? Or ladies, I guess. Everybody's good after the weekend?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Yay.
Yay.
I'm
All
doing
right.
great and awesome. Thank you.
So I want to take us on our journey. So we have our wheatgrass here, and I'm going to show you. This is the pea sprout.
Wow.
They're coming up. They're not quite ready. So these are going to be microgreens, so pea shoots, I guess. So they'll be microgreens, but they're getting close to harvest. There's there's some that didn't come up. So I'm going to guess that this is an older batch of seeds. So, but they're coming. And I want to take you back to our journey, and we're going to share the screen so that we can go on our journey of our wheatgrass. So, believe it or not, it's been 3 weeks since we started growing the wheatgrass, and we have all different sizes, I guess, here. So, we started by soaking the seeds. So this is wheat berries, organic wheat berries. So we started by soaking the seeds, and we started, and I soaked them for 24 hours. And then after that, I had them in a jar I let the water drain out, and at least twice a day, I rinse them. And I have a stopper on the jar, and I let me see. Give me a second. I've got one here. Just to show, I've started growing some other sprouts. So if you can see, I have this mason jar top that has little three little things that stick up, and they have it's got a, I don't want to get the water out, but it has a holes in it that allow you to put water in and drain it. So I don't even have to take the top off when it's time to rinse the seeds. I just turn it upside down in the sink, add some cold water to rinse it off, and then if I'm done with the soaking phase, which takes, for the wheat berry, I did 24 hours. You flip it upside down, and when you flip it upside down, you can let it drain so that you keep the water off. So I put it on the counter on a plate, so I let the water drain, and then with those little, and I guess risen little 3 little knobs, it will stay above the plate and it will drain. And then we kept them going. There you can see where the first one is kind of probably 1 to 2 days in. You're starting to see the sprouts coming up. They're just little white tiny bits. And then about 4 to 5 days, you can see that there's the roots are really getting big. They're getting all entangled with each other. And so once we reach this point where the roots are getting long enough, I guess I would say about 1/2 inch or so, then it's time to plant them. So we planted them in, I just took a tomato. This is a thing from a tomatoes that I got from the grocery store, one of those little cachet canister plastic things. So this is a good way you can recycle. I know it's plastic, but I also know that all of the you can buy the plastic grow trays as well. But this was handy. I put some dirt in. It was just potting soil. And I laid the wheatgrass on top, added a layer of parchment paper and a weight. I did a glass plate that I have that fits right inside here. And I weighed them down, and that you just need to do that long enough for them to start growing. And then they come up. Here you can see on, I guess, I don't know if it's your left or right side. It's my left side, the smaller ones. When they start coming up, then once they take, and they're in the dark at this point, and that's why they look albino and yellow. And so once they start to, the roots start to go downwards and they kind of firmly going into the soil, then you can take the weight off and the parchment paper and let them grow. And so we let them grow for about a week to 10 days. And we got them kind of to about 1.5 inches to 2 inches. And then they were ready to go into the light. So we put them by the window after that. And they grew up here. You can see they're grown up. And literally within 2 hours, they started to turn green from the sun. It didn't take very long for them to turn green. So this is our final product here. This is 3 weeks from when they were seeds and we started soaking them to now. So it takes, at least 2 to 3 weeks using this method. And then you can see a little closer to the roots is this one. And now we're ready to harvest them. Yay! So when do you harvest them? Here, hang on a second. When they start to get a double shoot, they start getting a second blade of grass growing out from the original one. That is about the right time to harvest them. And I show you here, I think it's a bit hard to see, but there is the blade of grass that's in the circle there. There's a red circle and it's kind of sticking out. I made it stick out. And you can see that there is a second shoot growing from the first one. So once you have that, that is about the right time when it's going to be at the peak of the nutrients to harvest them. So if you go a little bit earlier, they won't be as nutrient dense. And if you wait, they will start to lose their nutrients. So this is about the right time to harvest them. So you look out for those little shoots. And then I just want to also note that you need to watch for mold. And so in my growing and my demonstration, I showed 2 ways to do wheatgrass. One is with hemp heart in a container. So I have the little containers here, and they do not have any drainage on them. But the hemp heart mat, you put the seeds down the same way as we did in the dirt, and they grow onto the hemp heart mat, and then you just water them. So when you are watering so how do you avoid the mold? The first thing is do not overwater. That's going to be a bad thing. And water from the bottom, not from the top, but you can pick them right up and just put a little bit of water and make sure you don't put too much. So I think I overwatered this one. So this is the one here. And what I see around the edges is it looks black, kind of a gray color. So that's like a gray fuzz. And that is showing that it's got mold. Now, we already talked about the fact that you need to, if you see a little bit of white fuzz, especially when you're first starting, that doesn't necessarily mean mold. It actually, there's lots of little hairs that are growing as well. And so you don't feel right away because you have this little white fuzz that means that you have mold. But in this case, we're 3 weeks in, and it literally just started to come up in the last day or two. It's a good demo, but I'm going to throw this out and put it in the compost. And the hemp heart mats can go right into the compost as well. But in this case, I overwatered and a little bit of mold started coming up. So that you do not want to harvest that. But the good news is both of the ones that I did, I have 2 that I did in the dirt, and both of those are good. So we can harvest those. All right. Any questions before we get into the harvest and juicing? So we're going to juice these.
So the mold, I think, is interesting because if it's black, I'm not too sure that I would pick up on that. So thank you for the description of what it would look like.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that you can see it well on the picture that I've got there, but certainly like towards the corner there, I can see that it's moldy. And I could have blown up the picture more and you would really see it. But the other one on my right side is not moldy. The dogs just came in and they're all excited. They've been outside chewing not bones, but chews out in the backyard. So they're all excited now coming in. I think they're going for their walk. And yeah, so the other one is fine. There's a little bit of white. You can see some little bit of white on the edge of the one that's fine. That it's on my right side. I don't know if it's on your right or left. And that is actually some of those, that vermiculite or something that they put in the soil. That's what that is. It is not mold or hairs or anything. But there's definitely a difference. And if you were to pick up the one that I have, like here, the one that I show, this one, you can really see it. Now I'm going to go off there and maybe you might be able to see it. I don't know if you can see all that kind of grayish.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah,
I can see it now.
Yeah, so it's pretty obvious. And then if I part it open, I can see it's gray. Between the seeds is gray. It should not be gray. It should be the matte color or the seed color. So that one is going into the compost. But the other ones, we are ready to go to the juicing and harvest them. So I'm just going to back up here because you won't be able to see me in the... All right. It's kind of manual there. You guys good there? You can see me okay?
I think so. I can see the counter.
I have my juicer here.
Yeah, I can see you.
Yeah, okay. So this is my juicer that I have, and it is an omega juicer. So there are 2 kinds of juicers out there. There is the centrifuge juicer, and then there is the cold press juicer. That's a masticating press. So it grinds it. So the centrifuge is usually your less expensive juicers or centrifuge. And basically they have a basket, and as they spin the vegetables and fruits around in the basket, and that's what that kind of force of the spinning causes it to go through the basket. and causes that's how they you get the juice. And so on those ones, the centrifuge going around causes heat, and so they are not as good because they're heating up the juice, which kills the enzymes. So they're not as known to be as good as the ones that are the masticating, which basically have like an auger, and they basically just crush the vegetables and fruit, which makes it a cold press. Now, for wheatgrass, so you could do lots of different types of juices, but for wheatgrass, it has to be one with the auger for sure. It won't work on the centrifuge kind of juice press. And you know, I actually one of my favorite, I guess, things somebody asked. I actually interviewed the juice lady a couple of years ago on a summit, and she said that one of the biggest questions she gets is what type of a juicer should I get, or is the best. And her answer, which I love, is the one that you're going to use is the best. So you know, there's ones that are quite finicky, and you know, a lot of work to clean. Also, you know, there's ones where the hole to put the stuff in is really small, and you got to keep on doing it, babying it, and make sure you cut everything into small pieces. There's other that have bigger holes. Definitely a cold press is better. They are more expensive. But the one that you're actually going to use is the best. I like that. Now, this one is a cold press, obviously. I remember when I first did grew wheatgrass, I did have a centrifuge one. That was my first juicer. And I used it for a long time. But I ended up buying like a handheld one specifically for wheatgrass because it won't work in the centrifuge juicer. But this one actually will. You could make nut butters with this one. It'll crush your nuts, and you'll get nut butter out of it. I have not tried making it, but it does do it. All right, and what do you do to? I mean, harvesting is really just about cutting the wheatgrass, and then around the base. And so I've got some sharp pair of kitchen scissors, and I'm just gonna give this wheatgrass a haircut and throw it into my juicer. I'll put a little bit in before I start the juicer. We're just gonna put the whole thing through the juicer. I'm giving it a haircut here. All right. So now I've got some going. I'm going to turn on the juicer. It does have a bit of a noise. We'll see if you can hear me. Make sure I get. So that's the auger going right now, and it's starting to take the. Oh, it took the whole wheatgrass in there. It just demolished it. So
That sounded like a hum. It sounded like it's humming.
Can you see okay?
Yeah.
I can see you putting things in. I can see you putting things in, but I'm not
Yeah,
sure
we can
that I'm
see.
seeing things coming out.
So the things coming out right now, there's a little piece of the leftover wheatgrass here.
Ooh.
That's the after it's been crushed. So it's dried out. You could actually put it through a second time, which I'll do for that piece. But there's nothing coming out yet. It's all collecting at the bottom here. I'm telling you, you don't get a lot.
Okay.
All right. Let's see it go again. You should see some start coming out in a bit. Oh, it started. Can you see it? Drip, drip.
No.
So I'm seeing something that looks like it's dripping closer to the.
Done.
Oh my
Got a
gosh.
haircut.
So it looks like the canister that's closest to the machine is filling up. Is that accurate, or is that just? Oh no, I just saw it. I just saw it in the other one. I'm wrong.
Yeah, me too. I just saw it too.
I'm going to take the little bits here and put them back through.
Okay. The machine's really quiet.
Yeah, that's right. It's not so loud like a blender.
All right, we are done. So for the leftover, so for that 2 trays, and sometimes they grow higher. Mine were a little bit on the short side, but that's what it is. What it is. Basically, all of the leftover pulp is like that. That's it. Not much.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty dry. I think I lost a piece, but oh well, I'll get it later. And how much juice did I get? Not bad, actually. All right. Let me just move this to the side. Oh, some came out there, which is why I had it right here. I had my dishcloth here. All right. So not too much at the bottom, but it's not bad. It's actually better than I thought it was going to be.
So if you had to say it's a shot glass, like if you were measuring in shot glasses, would that be 3 shot glasses worth of juice?
I don't think so.
Oh my gosh.
Finley, he's excited for the juice. That's basically what you get.
Wow.
Wow.
So that's 1 shot of wheatgrass for those 2 trays. And what does it taste like? It tastes like grass. Warm grass. Warm liquid grass.
So how do you make it more palatable?
It's just a small shot. They have that commercial about the cough syrup that tastes bad, but it works. To be honest, I don't grow my own wheatgrass. So if you were growing this, you would need to continue. Let's say you wanted to have a daily shot. You'd have to have quite a bit of wheatgrass growing at different stages to keep up to a daily shot. Maybe you want to do a weekly shot. So you would have to have 2 trays like this times 3, so at each stage, right? So one that's you're soaking and sprouting, a second where you put it in the soil and you're starting to grow it, and then the third when you've got it in the sun for a week or so. So you would just need to continually rotate. And I think once you have it started, that would be okay, but that would be, or you have to grow big trays of them. And it's easy to do. The main thing is to watch for the mold, because I know that's what I've had some people ask questions about. How do you keep the mold down? So don't overwater. Water from the bottom. If you've got it in a humid place, that might not be so good as well. But those will help. And I got mold on mine, but I think it was because I overwatered. And then you have to look for the right time to harvest them, because if you wait too long, you'll probably end up getting mold. That there's an increased chance for mold as if you wait too long. And it's interesting because I've got one here. I don't know if you can see because it's not that close. It's the one blade of grass, and you can see the shoot coming out of it. I don't know. I can get closer. Yay! You can see the shoot coming out.
Yep, I see it. Yep.
You can see the shoot. So it just looks like grass. So what do I do? Because I do not grow my own wheatgrass as a hobby. I don't mind to do the sprouts, but the wheatgrass, not so much. For me, it's a bit much for work, but that's just me. So I actually, it's always the best to drink it within about 10 minutes of harvesting it. But I buy a wheatgrass juice. So it's an organic wheatgrass. It's grown in Canada and the US. And they harvest it, and they've got all these processes to flash freeze it and all that stuff. And so I buy it. I would have shown it to you, but we had a issue with our fridge and our freezer last week, and I don't have a freezer right here, so it thaws out really fast. But it basically comes in a sheet, and there are little bubbles of little ½ ounce, I think they are, wheatgrass pellets, and you can take as many as you want. And I take 5 a day. I put them in water. So I take my pellets out, put them in a glass, and then I add water to it. And that actually makes not a bad drink. I actually like it now. I'm used to it, and I like it. And it's because it was frozen, it's cold. And so to me, that's the next best thing to growing your own and having a wheatgrass shot. But it tastes better as well than this does. But cheers. I'm going to try
Bon appetit.
Oh, so much like grass. Yay. You just got to down it. Oh. And that's it. It's done. Ah. And I think I have a mustache. A wheatgrass mustache. But yeah, that's not too much, but that was about what I was expecting for that amount of wheatgrass. Anyway, any questions?
Well, I'm kind of understanding now why those juices cost so much money. If it's like this, I mean, that's a lot of effort for that.
Yeah, the other thing you can do is go to the, there's places, I know we have places here that they actually grow wheatgrass, and they'll cut it right in front of you and juice it. So you can do that as well if you want. That's another way to do it. You can regrow this. So I could regrow this. It will not be as nutrient dense as the first harvest, but you can do a second harvest if you really want to. Most experts would recommend that you do not do a second harvest, but you can. It is possible to do a second harvest. But like I said, it won't be as nutrient dense. I could maybe do a second harvest for my cat, and he would love that. But I'm going to probably compost this one as well now that I've done the juicing. And my cat will be sad that he didn't get any of it. It was funny because I brought it into my room, my office and room today to take the pictures. And boy, as soon as he saw it, he was there like a little dirty shirt. He was ready. He wanted them so badly. Anyway. All right. Are there any questions about the wheatgrass? We are now done with our sprouting. I am going to make available to you a sprouting guide that you can pick up. And I will let you know when that's ready. I expect it to be ready in the next couple of days so that you can take that and happy sprouting.
Thanks, Debbie.
All right. So for tomorrow, we are going to talk about one of my favorite topics, and that is aging. Because I know, none of us are getting younger. We're all getting older every day. It's just the way it is. We have no choice. But just because you're getting older biologically does not mean to say that your health age has to be getting older. And so my best thing is for us to be aging backwards one bite at a time. And so we're going to talk about some of the strategies to be aging backwards and looking at reversing chronic diseases and feeling better as we age. And there's no reason that we need to say, oh yeah, I'm forgetful, or I've got brain fog, but I'm just going to chalk it up that I'm getting older. So the whole idea is to have an amazing quality of life and not have a declining health while you're aging. So that's tomorrow's. The rest of the week, we're going to be talking about topics on that. And join us again at 2 p.m. tomorrow as we start our discussion on aging. Follow us for more tips on in the kitchen and recipes and stuff. So for now, bye for now. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye, ladies. Bye, everybody.
Yay. Bye.